Hello, gorgeous souls. I hope this finds you well and happy and enjoying your day. Thank you for joining me in this moment. For those of you who would like to know a little bit more about how you can trust your intuition. When we're in tune with our intuition, then life can just be so much better. Whether we're trusting that little snippet of information that comes in to say, drive this way home, and you find out later on that there was a roadblock or some roadworks going on, so it saved you a lot of time. Or whether you're getting a gut feeling about someone or a situation, when you know you can trust that feeling, that internal clock, if you like, that internal compass that gives you that feeling and knowing about something, life can be so much better. And it can be a tiny fleeting moment that can change your day, or it can be an enormous download, making you realise that maybe this is the time to move house or to buy a new car. Or for me, it's when I get a beautiful download about what I need to include in some coursework or a workshop. It is the most beautiful feeling, and the sense of feeling connected with my inner self, but also all those beautiful beings of light in the unseen world that surround me, that surround you. We walk in the third dimension in the physical world, but we're surrounded by beautiful beings of light in the other higher dimensions. Now, when we can tune in to what they're saying to us, what our internal compass is saying for us, life becomes more manageable, and it can be joyful. It can be really joyful. So today I have been running the Trust Your Intuition workshop, and I've had a beautiful group of people here today. So I just wanted to share with you some of the things that we've been working on to help us improve trusting in our intuition. Over the years, one of the things I have really come to appreciate and understand, that our intuition works through our senses. So something very simple and easy that we can do on a daily basis is to just be aware of our senses. We spend so much time focusing on what we're looking at, on what's coming out of our mouth and what we're actioning. But when we take a moment to just be still and to be quiet, to focus on our senses, because our senses are just an amazing part of being a human being, and they really help us to enjoy this human life. But also, when we are in tune with our senses, when we're aware of what our senses are telling us, and we're in tune with our intuition, life is so much richer. So when we think about the senses, of course, one of the things we think of first of all is sight. Most of us have physical sight. We spend a lot of time focusing on what we're looking at, what we're seeing in the physical world. But when we allow ourselves to relax and we allow our gaze to relax, then with practice we become aware of other beings and light energy in the other dimensions that surround us. Now that might be orbs or flickers of light, but you might see more than that. So some simple exercises are simply relaxing your gaze. We tend to focus our mind on what we're looking at, but when we relax our gaze and allow ourselves to be aware of what's on the periphery, to be aware of the images, of the colours, what's moving, what's staying still, but also how is all of that affecting me? How do I feel when I'm looking at all of this? Also, just simply closing your eyes, allowing yourself to relax. And if you meditate regularly, you'll know what I'm talking about, is when you've got your eyes closed, that you can see other things behind your closed eyelids, not just darkness, but you may see flickers of light and shade. You may see colours and they may come and go. You may see what seems to be a third eye opening and closing. You may get other images. And particularly if you're in meditation and you are aware of images coming in your meditation, and you're not seeing them behind your closed eyes, you're seeing them in your mind. That too is enhancing your intuition through your ability to be aware of what you're seeing, whether it appears to be in the physical world or in the unseen world. Sound, also an incredible part of our intuition. But what we tend to focus on, again, is our voice, maybe the music that we're playing, maybe we're driving along on the radio and we're listening to a podcast, but we're not necessarily really being aware of sound. So when you give yourself a moment to just be quiet and listen to the sound, maybe in the music that you're playing, but the sounds around you, maybe the ticking of a clock, maybe your washing machine's going, the whirring of your fridge, maybe there's some sound outside, maybe you can hear the birds singing or the wind rustling through the trees. And if you're listening to music, listen, really listen, not just to the words, but to the sounds, the different tones, the different musical instruments maybe, not trying to diagnose it, not trying to pull it apart, but simply, are you enjoying it? Being aware of all those different sounds. And how does it make me feel? Because so often we hear words, whether they are external to us or we hear words in our mind that is part of our intuition, maybe giving us a warning, maybe giving us some insight about a relationship or something you're planning to do, a project that you're working on, a journey that you're going to make. And sometimes it can actually be a real person saying, have you really thought about that? And then it gets you thinking, what a beautiful thing that they have said. Now you may think that's nothing to do with intuition, but they've been prompted to say that to you so that you can think about it. But it's wonderful when we can hear internally, whether it's coming from our own inner wisdom or if it's coming from our angels and guides, that confirmation of what we're perhaps thinking about, or something that we really need to think about, something that we need some insight for. Smell also. We don't always think about smell. We might like some candles, we might like some incense, we might put our perfume on. When the dinner's cooking and you're aware, oh, I'm hungry now because I can smell dinner and I'm looking forward to that. Smell, again, is a really beautiful part of who we are as human beings. How many of you go and smell the flowers? Because it's such a pleasure, whether it's roses or we've got sweet peas growing in the garden at the moment. And both my husband and I often, each day when we go and water the garden, we're going and smelling the sweet peas as well. It just heightens our day. So, when you allow yourself to be aware of the fragrances in the air, again, it heightens that sense. Because often angels and guides will give you a fragrance as if it's right there in front of you and you're smelling it in and it's really real. And that scent, that fragrance might take you somewhere else. It might lift your energy or it may bring back a memory. So when we're breathing in through our nose, the part of our brain that processes and holds memories is right here. So when we're smelling something that gives us a memory, that is all part of the process. It's all part of our intuition. My darling grandma always wore a perfume called Hartnell in Love. All the bottles had heart-shaped bottles. The perfume, the body lotion, the talcum powder, they all heart-shaped bottles. And although they don't make Hartnell in Love anymore, I can still smell it. And when my grandma's coming in and coming close to me, I get a waft of that smell and I know she's there. It's just heavenly and I can feel her presence and I acknowledge her in my mind. And I might get a tiny little snippet of conversation, but I might just get the feeling of love from her, which is totally, totally wonderful. Taste also is part of our human senses. So one of the things you can practice, and one of the things I did with everybody here today, I offered them different sweets. So I offered them some fruit jellies and I offered them Turkish Delight. And it's about when you put that in your mouth, how does it taste? How does it feel on your tongue? Are you enjoying it? What does it mean for you? Does it make you feel happy? So it's something you can practice even when you're eating your evening meal. Because often, if we're sitting around the table with the family and we're eating our evening meal, we're often chatting and we're not really paying attention to what we're eating, how it tastes, are we enjoying it, is doing my body good. So do that. Allow yourself to just take time over your meal or your ice cream or your chocolate bar and really think about it as it's going in. How does the texture feel on your tongue? How does it taste in the different parts of your tongue? Are you enjoying it? And how does it make you feel? Is it making you feel happy? And of course, touch is a huge part of our human existence. I think we would die without touch, without touching one another, being able to hug and hold one another. But touching is also a real joy, isn't it? I don't know about you, but we've got 3 pussycats, and to be able to stroke their beautiful soft fur and feel that fur as I stroke them is just pleasurable. Holding somebody's hand, that's so comforting, isn't it? It feels lovely, it's reassuring. But also thinking about how do your clothes feel on your skin? Are you warm? Are you cool? Are you comfortable? Because again, when we're aware of touch, this is another way of our intuition when it's working, when we're really aware of it, because when we're getting that little tickling sensation on our skin or on our hair, well, sometimes we really feel, I can't tell you the amount of people who, when we've done an angel meditation, have actually felt like they've been hugged. So when you take time to simply be aware of that energy of touch, be aware of your physical body. Are you warm? Are you cool? How your clothes feel? Simply rubbing the tips of your thumbs across the tips of your fingers, or really focusing when you're touching something, maybe when you're holding a crystal or something soft, perhaps when you're giving your fur baby a cuddle, or when you're cuddling your partner. Really think about this beautiful energy of touch, because very often the beautiful beings of light in the unseen world are communicating to us through our intuition, through touch. And that is such a beautiful thing. Now, our 6th sense is here, isn't it? In our brow chakra, which is our intuition. Our brow chakra simply is processing and understanding what we're picking up on, whether it's internal or whether it's being given to us by the higher dimensions. We collate that information through our crown chakra. We process it also through our causal chakra, which is at the back of the head. and we understand it through our brow chakra. But what has to happen is for our brow chakra, as it's processing it, as it's understanding it, it's about feeling it in here and here. Because if it feels right, it's because it is right. If you can't feel that, well, I don't know if I feel that, am I making it up? Is it my logical mind? Then sometimes we've lost it. When it automatically feels right, it's because it is right. And that is our intuition giving us a thumbs up. Try not to get too het up about it. Try to just go with the flow of it. But also these little practices every day in some way, and I still do it even now, even though I've been doing this a long time, I still do some practices every day. So try them. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't think you've got to try and do it all in one go. Just go, right, actually today, do you know what? I'm going to really pay attention to what I'm looking at. I'm going to really pay attention to the colours. And maybe on a day when you go, right, I'm going to really focus on touch and really notice the texture of things. So when you go and get your coffee, how does the cup feel other than it being hot? How does it feel in my hand? Am I enjoying it? How does it feel through this sense of touch? So there's lots of things you can do to really, really hone your intuitive skills, really enabling you to trust your intuition, being in an alignment with your inner self and the unseen world. And it really is enriching. I can't imagine my life now without this. Anyway, my darling ones, I do hope you found this helpful. And I'd love to hear from you if there are any practices that you do to help you trust your intuition. If there are any tools particularly that you like to use to help you trust your intuition. And thank you so much for joining me in this moment. And remember, my darling ones, whatever it is you're doing today, remember to be kind to yourself, nurture yourself, cherish each other, and I wish you love, light and angel blessings, and have a wonderful day.